Yeah, so what we're going to cover today is really a program overview and the benefits of participating in internship. And then we'll go on to speak to the application process and the recruitment timeline, so how it works and when you would be applying for job opportunities. The next, is how to apply. And lastly, we have just a Q&A period. In some of the other sessions, we do have former interns speaking to their experience, but the long-term internship for social science is fairly new. We actually have our first cohort of long-term interns going out this year. They're working right now. So far so good. And hopefully next year we'll be able to share more outcomes from their experiences. So in terms of the long-term internship program, it's really Western social sciences co-op internship opportunity for in undergraduate students. So you apply in the third year of your fourth program to complete a year-long, 8-month to 16-month internship. This is during your fourth year of study, and then you would come back to complete your final year as a fifth year. So it extends your graduation into 2024, keeping that in mind. While you're on internship, you do gain a 1.0 elective credit, and this credit can be counted towards your 20.0 degree plan, assuming you have room. So most students, what they do is they take one less credit when they come back post-internship, so it reduces their workload, and they're able to really excel in their final year of study. The work starts between May or September of the fourth year. So comparing that to the short term, which you may have looked at on the website, you can apply in after second year, as late as your fourth year. You do not need to come back to school after the short-term internship. It's a 4-month opportunity. Most students do this in the summertime because we do not allow courses during the internship. It's a full-time job, so students tend to do it while they're on break from studies. And lastly, you earn a 0.5 versus a 1.0. Across both programs, I'll just highlight that they're all salary wage-based roles with full-time hours, and they are meant to support your professional development. So we wouldn't accept positions that are maybe possible to receive without a degree, for example. And then lastly, just to note that you can actually do more than one of these programs. So if you were to do a long-term internship and a short-term within your degree, there is a maximum 1.5 credit that you can count, but it is possible. Being in third year, I think you're probably going to choose one or the other, in that you're almost, you're on the road to graduation, so you likely don't have room for both, but just something to think about. All right, so why do an internship? These are some outcomes that we feel really differentiate an internship from a different type of learning experience. The first is that you build career development know-how. So doing an internship allows you to identify and build your professional brand by practicing, going through the recruitment process, such as interviews, resume building, cover letter writing, and really build those skills early in your career before graduation. You'll never do one recruitment in your lifetime. You'll have many experiences throughout your life. So we hope that this gives you some foundational knowledge that will continue to pay off in your future. The second is that you'll be able to better articulate your skills, strengths, and interests by doing this practical hands-on experience. That's a big part of telling your story and building your professional brand. Third, that you're prototyping a career path. So making a year-long commitment to an employer, it may seem like a lot, but really it's still a testing ground where, in the end, if it doesn't seem like a fit for you, you can use what you've learned and go a different way or continue to build on that path that you've chosen. And then lastly, can propel your next move. So many of our long-term interns from the programs that we have here at Western continue to stay connected to their mentors and their supervisors. Many receive return job offers, and so it can help you get to your next step. All right, so what does this program offer you? Many of your friends or people in your life might have internships that are either through a co-op internship program or not. So by doing an academic internship program, we wanted to highlight what makes it different. The first being that you do have access to Western's Career Services team and our team. to provide tools, tips, and resources that will help you in your search. So again, it is building that skill of going through the recruitment process with support. It also provides structured time to dedicate to this task. You know, it's very busy with school, and you likely have other responsibilities or extracurriculars. So by being a part of a formal program, we hope that we can help guide you and build that time into your schedule to dedicate to career development. Secondly, that you do earn the credit. It says 0.5 I'm seeing, and we should put 1.0 on that. Sorry about that. It's a 1.0 credit for the long term. And then third, there are hundreds of curated and vetted internship postings that you'll have access to through participating in this program. So it's a way to streamline your search in that way. Many of these postings are only available to students in an academic co-op, an internship, and they choose to work directly with us. So that's a benefit. And lastly, we mentioned our team already, but we are here to help you as you hit roadblocks along the way or have questions. We can review your individual applications to employers or just have conversations throughout your experience. All right, so Kate's going to share more about what employers are looking for.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so when thinking about what employers want, a lot of times it comes up in our sessions that students are concerned about their grades and how much your grades factor into an employer's decision to move forward with your application. And I really have to say that while we are a post-secondary institution and we want you to do well, we want you to apply yourself and get the most out of your studies, having an 80+ average is not the top priority for an employer. What is a top priority is having these transferable skills and capabilities to be able to take with you to the workplace. You'll notice the first 5 are very human skills, so collaboration and teamwork, communication skills, problem solving skills, relationship building. So you're building some of these skills already during your degree, but then you're also building them through your experiences like volunteering, your part-time job. So really drilling down on what that is and being able to show that in your application and show your potential for what you can do in the workplace. So that's really what employers are mostly looking for, is that you have these skills and that you can build upon them when you're out on your internship. And what you can expect is, so the world of work is changing. As we know, the pandemic has definitely changed how the workplace can look. So there are a couple different options in terms of the format that you might expect for your internship. So we have internships that are either fully in person, that could be a mix of hybrid. A popular one is the 3 and 2, so 3 days in the office, 2 days remotely. And then there's also fully remote opportunities as well. We are supportive of all 3 different formats. Most of our opportunities are in Toronto and the GTA and London and surrounding area. This is simply because that's where a lot of our students live. Whether they're from Toronto or they're from London, and that's where they want to be living and working on their internship as well. That said, we're very open to you letting us know where you want to work and the places where you want to be. So when you're filling out your application form for the internship program, there'll be a link embedded in there to a survey that's going to ask you those questions. And that really informs our outreach to employers so that we can make sure that we're sourcing the opportunities in the regions where you want to be. In terms of sectors, we work with all sectors. So we work with private sector, government, nonprofits, startups. So you're not limited by sector. If there's a specific sector, we know a lot of students are very interested in government, particularly at the federal level. And we do work with the Government of Canada and the several different federal divisions. So that is an option for you, as well as the big 5 banks, big 4 accounting firms, and other, large organizations and small as well. The types of roles that you can look forward to, and really the sky's the limit. So these are more sort of business related roles, but that's not all that we offer, because you are potentially not in a management and organizational studies degree, and maybe you do want project management, maybe you don't, maybe there's something else. So we definitely expand our reach in terms of our outreach and talking to employers about what a psych student can do, history, geography, sociology, and so some really interesting opportunities that either directly relate to your degree or directly relate to your professional goals. In terms of competition and exclusivity, this question comes up quite a bit with students. So when I'm applying to roles that are in Western Connect in the internship portal, who is my competition? Are these exclusive to Western? Sort of what are my odds? And it really brings back to your strong application. You want to make sure that you are being able to articulate your skills and present yourself in a really positive and strong light to employers, so that you go to the top of the pile, because a lot of times you are competing against other schools. We do have some exclusive relationships, but by and large, you might be competing with other post-secondary institutions, those students. So again, getting that career support, taking advantage of all the services that we offer so you can have a really strong application is very important to your success in securing a work term.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. All right, so lots to think about there. We're moving on to eligibility criteria. So if you're interested, when you're thinking about applying or you have applied, these are how your application will be assessed. So the first is that you are required to have a 70% average minimum in your previous 5-pointer courses. So for many of you, that would be your second year courses. We will look at your summer grades in the event that, let's say you have a 68, you're very close, but your summer grades did help boost that up, then we'll consider that and allow you into the program. You do have to be a main campus social science student, so declared in a major honors specialization or specialization on main campus. Third, you have completed 2 years. So this program is only available to third-year students, and that's the same with, again, if you have friends in science, engineering, or in Dan management, the long-term program. That's the standard, and the idea is that, again, you apply your learnings in your final year of study when you return. And lastly, you do need to be in good standing with your department and your module. I will make a note about transfer and second degree students. Again, if you are a fourth year, but you're only in your third year of the program here at Western, we will definitely consider you. So still apply, and we'll look at your unique situation there. Okay, some things to consider. Graduating class of spring 2025. I hope that is accurate. It's always interesting to think about how far ahead, but you'd be completing your internship in 2023 to 2024. So that means your final year of study would be the following year, and you're pushing your graduation by a year. So that's just something to think about and make sure you're comfortable with. The second is that internship is your priority during your fourth year. So we don't allow students to take courses during their internship. It is a full-time job, and we want you to have work-life balance and really focus on this opportunity and make the most of it. There have been times where students have been permitted to take 0.5 credit during their internship. So that could be discussed if you have certain goals there. Third, student services. So during a long-term internship, no ancillary fees are charged. So that means that your access to clubs in the rec center and a bus pass would apply during your time on internship. In most cases, this doesn't impact you if you're doing an internship in Toronto or a different city. But if you are doing a London internship, just keep in mind that will be potentially an additional expense. The rec center does offer discounts, and the bus pass, I believe, as well, based on your age. But it's a consideration. And lastly, your scholarship and OSAP, if you are a recipient, you are permitted to defer your continuing scholarship by a year. And OSAP recipients can maintain interest-free status. So you just have to fill out a form during your internship year, which we will talk to you about once you're hired and in the program. But those are two benefits, and you do maintain full-time student status during your internship as well. So if we have any international students here thinking about a postgraduate work permit, you are still going to be eligible to apply for that afterward, because you'll have been a maintained full-time student throughout your degree, with or without an internship. So, all right, how it works. So if you're interested, we ask that you submit an application on Western Connect. I'm going to show you a screenshot in the next slide about where to find that form. And this is what initiates the academic eligibility check. The deadline is October 19th. And then once you've got that big stamp of approval, this is where you start to invest your time, as we said, in preparing. So there is a a workshop component that we require you to attend for resume and cover letter. That still happen in November. And then you do submit an assignment. Essentially, it's a draft resume where you'll apply your learnings from the workshop and we'll give you feedback. There's no cover letter assignment. That's just information we want you to digest and apply to your individual applications. You will also have an opportunity to complete a personality assessment. So you may have heard of Clifton Strengths, but it's just another way to help you identify what uniquely you bring to the table and how you can position that in the recruitment process. And then from there is when you're going to be applying for jobs. So in the winter, January to March is the most busy period for applying to the job opportunities in our portal. We will offer interview skills support during that period as well so that you feel prepared. And then you will receive an offer, hopefully. So if you do receive an offer, this could happen at any point, depending on when you apply for the positions. And we will offer, again, a pre-departure workshop, which will help you prepare before heading into the workplace. And it's at this point that you're enrolled in the actual 1.0 credit. So before you are hired, there's no penalty on your academic record and there's no fee being charged. We only apply this once you've been hired, and we then enroll you in the course and you're part of the program officially through your student center. So if you're interested, I'm going to send these slides afterward and you can review what's involved in the coursework. We do have reflection activities built in. The course is graded pass fail. So as long as you complete those activities, you can expect to be successful. One thing I should definitely highlight again for international students, you do need to apply for a co-op work permit. So how it works is we send you a letter once you're approved that you'll use toward your application to the government. We encourage you to do this in the fall term so that there's no delay to the approval. And IESC, the Western International Office, is there to help you. So they host workshops on how to complete that work permit application, and we will send you those details again once you're approved for the program. So as I mentioned, this is where you find the application form in Western Connect, and there's this button, apply to a program, and you'll select the long-term internship. It's right at the bottom. I think it's second to last. And this is what the form looks like. So it's fairly straightforward. If you also are thinking about summer internship, and you want to keep your options open, you can have access to both. So we'll look at you for the long-term internship, but if you have selected yes, you also want to see 4-month opportunities, then we'll enable you to view all of those postings. And then depending where you get hired, you would either earn the 0.5 credit or the 1.0. Oh, and you know what, I'm going to go back because I did want to also mention the survey. So Kate mentioned if you have feedback for us on the type of jobs you're looking for, employers in mind, the survey is embedded there as well. So you can link to that. All right. And then lastly, can I look for outside? Can I look outside of the internship portal for postings? And the answer is absolutely yes. We encourage you to access any personal networks you have, connections to roles, maybe in your area of where you live. So if you live out west, we don't have as many opportunities there. So definitely go beyond what we offer, and we can help you through that process as much as we can. There are criteria. So when you're looking for opportunities on LinkedIn or Indeed or beyond, you just want to keep in mind the criteria so that you can count it toward the credit. We assess every position that is found by students. So this link, again, will be your place to double check the criteria. All right, I'm going to stop it there. Now, before I get to questions, please enter in the chat if you have any questions or put your hand up. I did want to say, I remember that we had Dan management students here. So if you are a Dan management student, just know that the long-term option for you is through the Dan Management Internship Program. So this is the equivalent program for students in other areas of study. So I'm sorry that I forgot to mention that at the beginning. It's very much structured in a similar way, so this information is still valid, but just keep in mind you should apply for the Dan Management Program. If you've already applied for this one, don't worry, we'll probably just switch you manually in the system, and you'll have access to the right opportunities. So not a huge deal, but just FYI, that's something to think about. All right, so are there any questions from the group? Oh, I see a hand. Okay. Let me see if you don't mind just unmuting yourself, Fang Shu.
Okay, I have some questions. First,
Okay.
I have applied my application. I have applied for the internship and handing my application. So I wonder when could I get approval?
Yes, yeah. So we, because of our timeline, we haven't yet reviewed the applications that are pending in the portal. With the October 19th deadline, we have started to submit those to counseling. They help us with the checks. So they're just, we should, starting this week, start to see approvals come through. But it just took us a little minute to get organized and get those checks in process. So stay tuned. Once you're approved, you will receive a notification in your email and next steps. So I would say within the next week or so, if you've already applied, you should have some news. But again, the postings don't appear until late fall, early winter. So you're not missing out on any opportunities that way. If that gives you reassurance.
So,
yeah.
So I don't need to ask an approved letter from my department, but the approved letter is given by your office.
That's right.
To apply for that co-op.
Yes, so for the co-op work permit, you need 2 letters. One is from our office that confirms your enrollment in the academic internship. And then the other letter, I believe, is the official Western enrollment, proof of enrollment letter. And that's what you get through the registrar's office. But again, yeah, I think, yes. And that one, I would talk to Western International. I'm not 100% sure what needs to be on that other letter, but I think it's just a basic proof of enrollment. Yeah.
So maybe I need to contact with IESC about what should the letter be?
Yes, yes. You can tell them that your application is pending in the program and that you know about the program letter, like that will issue that one. But you could ask for clarification on the other letter that's required.
So I need to, and actually,
yes.
They told me I should get a letter from my department. So I contact the department.
That should, yeah, okay. I won't, I'll let you explore that with them, but just know that we will give you a letter from the internship program to, that's what we'll provide you. Yeah.
I see. And can an international student work at the government? Canadian government?
It depends. So some of the government roles are exclusive to domestic students. Kate, do you have more on that? Is it across the board or is it by department?
Sorry, what was the question?
Can international students work at federal government position for federal government?
Any type of government.
Or any type. Yeah.
I know for the federal government, there is usually a stipulation that they hire Canadian citizens and permanent residents in the first instance. And then after that, they may be able to open it up to folks who are international. However, typically speaking, it's open to Canadian citizens and permanent residents first.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about like City of London?
City of London municipal, I'm not entirely sure about municipal. I don't think they have the same sort of stipulations. We can look into that and get back to you on that one. But
yeah, I'm interested in that.
I'm trying to remember. We don't have a lot of opportunities from City of London for internships, so I can't be 100% certain on that answer in this moment. Okay. I don't think so, but let me check.
Mm-hmm.
How about Ontario?
Ontario, I don't think so. That's another one we'd have to check into. I know federal, that's something that comes up quite a bit. A lot of their postings will say that at the outset, that the student needs to be a Canadian citizen, but for provincial and municipal, I don't think so, but I'd have to confirm.
Yes, so and I would just add that we have had international students work at the CRA and at other government roles, but again, like Kate said, they just prioritized domestic and permanent residents first. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Are there any other questions? Oh, we got someone in the waiting here. All right, well, hopefully that information was clear. Are people thinking of applying? I'm curious to see, or do you have any um, concerns or reservations, or you're going to think about it? I'd love to just hear some feedback if there's anything we can help clarify.
Diana, it looks like there's something in the chat. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you
okay.
had I'm just wondering if it's possible to get resume checked before start applying. How can I do so? Can I come for a session or an email?
Okay.
Do you want to answer that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just head back to that slide. So part of our process is to do a resume review, but we do recommend that you start with the workshop because we'll go over key components and criteria for a strong resume. And that information will then inform your assignment. And then we will give you that formal feedback by the end of November before the busy recruiting period. But if you happen to see a job posting that's due before November, and you really want to apply, then yes, you can come by office hours or set an appointment and we can take a look at your tailored application as well. Yeah. All right, good question.
Hello.
Hi.
I probably have another question. So, if I have attended some workshop from career education, should I attend again, like workshop about cover letter, workshop about I would say about the resume? I have attended this, and I have done the Clifton strength.
Okay. When did you complete these?
Oh, a few days ago.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
for the cover letter.
Yes. So I would say if it was this term, then we would definitely consider it as your workshop because the content is very similar. So in terms of just showing that you've done that, I think we would just have you send your registration confirmation or your attendance confirmation so we can confirm that. But yes, if it's done this term, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And how about Clifton strength? I did that like last September, last October.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. If you've done your Clifton Strengths, it's just a tool in your toolbox. We won't make that mandatory for people. That's just something we want to offer and emphasize because we'll talk about it in our workshops and in our throughout the year about how you can actually apply what you've found out about your strengths to, like, let's say an interview or to your cover letter. So now that you've done it, you're just one step ahead. Yeah.
Okay. And how many interviews can I reject?
Oh, yeah. So we do have a rule that I think it's 2 interviews that you can reject. So when you do apply for a position, you want to be fairly serious about it or just know that you're willing to be considered. It doesn't mean you have to accept the position, but we also have a rule that you cannot decline more than 2 positions before being removed from the program. And that's to do with our relationship to employers that, they're expecting students to consider the position if they go to the interview. Yeah.
I see.
So it's
and oh, sorry, go first.
No, I'm good. You can go ahead.
Okay. And another question: how many students usually participate every year? Like last year, pre-COVID.
Yes. So our benchmark for long-term internship is mostly with the Dan Management program because that's been going on for years. And as I said, we just introduced social science long-term last year. So last year we had only about 30 students apply, and of that 30 students, 6 students are currently out on long-term internship. I will say that some of those 30 were hired for summer, so they just did the dual approval. They applied for both streams through the one application. Like I said, you just submit your long-term application and check off the yes for 4-month jobs. So yeah, I would say it's a growing and smaller program. For Dan Management, it's usually about 30 to 40% of the cohort is hired and enrolled. Yeah.
I see. So last year was the first year of social science learning internship, and 30
Yes.
students were there. How about then management? Are these people competing with us?
Yes, that data management is it was the 30 to 40% of the eligible students were hired and enrolled in the program. Yeah.
How many students were there? How
So
many
we had,
students were
it's
eligible?
about over 100 students were in the program, and there were 30, I believe it's 30, between 35 and 40.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? I'm curious to hear, yeah, if anyone wants to know more about the job opportunities, or if you have a particular interest in a field. Only because you're still here. If we're all done, we can let you go. Okay. I guess that's it. So thank you so much for coming, everyone, and asking your questions. Take some time to think about it, and feel free to drop by, as I noted here in our end slide, office hours. I will say that there's the career fair coming up. Oh, now I've lost some people, but the career fair is coming up on October 4th. So we encourage you to attend that. It's a great networking opportunity with over 80 employers, I believe. Yeah. All right. Have a great day.